Welcome to Beyond the Guidelines, the podcast that takes you past the listings, the programs, and all the polished sales talk to reveal the real people shaping today's real estate world. Here we uncover the personal stories, struggles, and wins that define each guest, giving you a fresh, human perspective on the business. At Creative First Mortgage, we're on a mission to help you see the person behind the professional, because real estate isn't just about the deals, it's about connection.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Guidelines. Today, I have an old friend on with me. Lee, I think we've known each other for probably over a decade at this point, which is pretty cool to think about. And his name is Lee Fast. He's a real estate agent with Heartland Real Estate in Minnesota, in the Mankato Westbrook area is where we do a lot of business together, which is cool. And he says that his purpose is, I'm here to guide you with honesty and care so you can make confident decisions for your future. And Lee, I have come to know you very well inside the real estate game, and that is definitely who you are. How did you come to that as your purpose?
Yeah, man. Well, first off, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. This is exciting. This is a first for me, so take it easy on me. But to answer your question, I would say it just comes down to my morals, really. I mean, treat others how you want to be treated, man. So, and that's how I really wanted to step out and be a realtor, especially for first-time homeowners or buyers and younger people that just really aren't educated on how this all works, really. And I was there at one time when I first, we bought our first house, my wife and I, and we had no idea what we were doing. And we actually bought privately, and luckily we bought with somebody that had the same morals as us. He wasn't gonna treat us wrong. We all wanted the end goal at the same day. We wanted to be in the house, and he wanted the house sold, and luckily we stepped into that good situation. So to kind of circle back on the question, yeah, that's how I came about my purpose there, for sure. So
that's awesome. And like I said up front, it's definitely who you are as a person. I've known you for a long time. We've had our ups and downs. We've gone through life together for the most part and come back around. And that's something that, you kind of find those people in life and stick with. And, like you mentioned, you were lucky to kind of get into a transaction where the other person was operating with the same values. And a lot of times we don't see that with real estate agents, unfortunately. And, they're fighting for their clients. And really a lot of times it ends up being that, they just want to be the bullhead in the transaction and kind of take over things. How are you seeing your values kind of play through your business with your clients, and how those clients become repeat clients or referral clients?
yeah, so I would say how I connect with people right away, just being myself, trying to be a friend almost, and there's certain situations you just feel it out. Like some people strictly business, let's get the house bought. Some people, 90% of the time, people want to connect with you. And there's always something you can connect with the person and build that relationship, right? And maybe I come from a different perspective a little bit because it's not truly my full-time job when I started. It was a side hustle, right? Everyone has their side hustle. And this was one that I was thinking, yeah, let's try it. I always want to get into sales. And that's when I say that, I wasn't out to really make money. Everybody wants to make money on side hustle, but it wasn't like my top goal. My goal was to make, if I make a couple $100 or $1,000, great. It'll help with vacation, and but it's turned into more and more just because of those values and those that core I stick to, and that's being me, being personable, connecting with my buyers, and asking the right questions of what's your goal, what's your goal in life, and then move forward with, what are you looking for in a house truly? So.
Yeah, it's definitely a better way of going about business to make sure you're connecting with the person. We talk about that on pretty much every one of these episodes, and it's kind of what the entire podcast is based off of, is kind of finding the person underneath. So I'm going to ask you a question that's a little bit more on the personal side.
Yeah.
Who are you when you're not wearing the real estate hat?
Oh man, I am busy. Family first. 2 little boys under 4, and anybody that has kids around that age understands exactly what I'm talking about. You gotta you're always moving, and those kids keep you moving for sure. And especially my youngest Jackson, he is a lot like me, and he is wild and runs, and it's payback. My mom always said you're gonna have payback someday. And it's coming full force right now. So yeah.
What else do you do, outside of the family stuff, focusing on that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you do some farming stuff on the side.
Yeah.
What is that like? What does a day in the life of Lee Fast look like?
Yeah. So I'm a full-time crop adjuster, and it flows really well with farming and real estate. Um, Crop adjusting, just like anything else. Let's say on a car, you get a hailstorm, we're gonna get called, we're gonna come in, but we're basically waiting for storms. So I'm usually working from home, and I kind of just get the call when the storms come through. Is kind of how it works. So then in that meantime, I was looking for something to fill the gap, and that's how I got into real estate. I married into a great family that farms. I grew up in a farming family, row crop corn and beans here in southern Minnesota. But so I knew the background, but I wasn't really involved in the farming aspect of things. It wasn't really my thing, until I got married, and I knew there was a gap there, or a field that they needed some help. So with my background of growing up on the farm, it fit well with my in-laws. So I'm pretty blessed there to have that family. So what it looks like every day, I jump on my computer, after I deal with the family, get the boys to daycare, make time for a quick run, make time for me, right? And then I jump on my computer, I answer my adjusting call, and then I can work my way to the farm and help out there. And if real estate isn't calling that day, but it always seems the phone, especially Mondays, phone's gonna ring hard. So there's always something, and I kind of jump back and forth, switch my hats, and on the road I go.
So how does like the crop adjusting and the real estate kind of overlap with skill set and mindset?
Yeah, when I'm dealing with farmers, is definitely connecting with them, being that people person again, right? Just treating others like the way you want to be treated, and being right with them and being right with the company that you're representing. And that's how anybody wants to be treated, even the farmers. So they're worried about their crop, and in most situations that people that aren't farmers, you're worried about your car. You want to know, how you're going to be taken care of at the end of the day, right? So I would say that's how it overlaps or connects with real estate. People want to know, they want to be treated right. um, they want to know that there's no surprises at the end of the day. I'm up front with them right away on the biggest thing is always cost, right? Well, what are things going to cost? Are there, like I said, surprises at the end of the day that I didn't see at the day of closing? Just connecting and being honest with people right away. So
Yeah, that's a huge thing, and why I continue to work with you. I've had partners in the past that haven't had that, and we don't work together anymore. And that's a big thing throughout, is just being able to know that, while I'm on the lending side and you're on the real estate side, knowing that you're taking care of your side the right way is such a huge thing. And so, yeah, I love that that's a core theme in your life. What is a challenge or a failure that has shaped how you kind of approach your career today?
luckily, I have a fantastic broker. That really that he. I mean, we've had our issues, and we've grown together. Like, I feel like in any industry, you need that to grow. And with my broker, he's able to answer any question that I have. So luckily, if someone asks a question that I don't know, I say, hey, I know somebody that can answer this for you, and I can get this answered, right away. And luckily, that has helped me stumble or fail more than maybe most realtors, because we have that small town, just really connection with people. My broker, like I said, we're smaller. He's able to answer the phone 99% of the time. I feel like when I was shop around a little bit on brokerages, it just seemed busy, and they had the right answers, but it just wasn't connecting. So, to answer your question, circle back here, failures, man, I feel like I could write a book after 5 years. It's been a roller coaster. It's been wild. You just never know what you're going to get from people, really, and they're moving from all over the country. I've had people from Florida, and I've had people from California and Texas, and you just really gotta, like I said, you got to find that connection with people, right? And you got to earn their trust. So A story is not coming on top of my mind right now on a failure. I mean, I've dropped the ball in my beginning of my career plenty of times where I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about this charge, or I forgot how this appraisal might work, and when you have to pay for it, inspections, like what are we looking for in inspections, just the little things that you learn over time that now it flows, it comes easy, and I'm able to, guide people a lot better than I used to. So
Yeah, being able to utilize some of those, whether they're major or minor shortfalls or failures, and grow from them, right? And being able to use them to build for the better process for the future. That's such a huge thing, right? Like just being able to utilize those. What do you think most people misunderstand about you or your business?
So I think what maybe most people misunderstand, or maybe in general of realtors, is our time. Um, and you come to learn people will respect your time, but put it in perspective, and I'm sure this connects with many people. Your kids go to school, they go to daycare, they're there most of the day. Your wife or your husband goes to work and they come back at 5 o'clock. And from 5 to 8, that's your time, right? And that's when most people will call to look at a house. And it's tough because they're getting off work and that's when it works for them. But most people will respect your time. It's not that night, that day. They'll schedule it, 5 days out, and you can talk with your significant other like, hey, I have a showing at 6 o'clock. Is that okay? You're going to have the kids tonight, but the biggest thing is having that quality time with family. And I circle back with family because when I first started my career, I was like go, go, go. I was gone 5 to 8 a lot, and it got to be a lot. Just on my wife and stuff too. And she understood, she understood the drive. She understood our goals at the end of the day. But now that I'm more seasoned, I would say after, 5 years, um, I manage my time a much better. I do ask that question back. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't show a house today, but will Friday, 5 days from now, work? I'm like, oh yeah, that'll work. I'm like, well, why didn't I ask that question right away? So I would say the most of the time people don't quite, probably I'd say respect your time or understand it right away, but it's really more 50-50. You just got to feel them out, and that's probably the most, to answer your question, that would probably be the time consuming thing. So
Yeah, I think a lot of people recognize that, like you said, the same scenario plays for your clients as it does for you, right? Like
mhm.
that 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, and then they come home and they're spending time with their family. They're looking at houses and they want to see something. And that's the most difficult part about real estate in general is managing that time to a place of having boundaries and having them respect that the boundaries, right? And I think that's what's cool with the majority of the clients that come through. They do respect it if you respect your time, right? And that's the first step is respecting our own time and acknowledging that. So the fact that you were able to get to that point after going through it, I did it too, still do it sometimes, right? We go through seasons. And there's times where I'm working till 2 a.m. because I don't want to give up my 5 to 8 with the family, right? And then you just kind of pick it up after everybody goes to bed and you just work until you're done. And so that, there's just ways to set the boundaries and make sure that other people are, operating within those boundaries too. So kind of playing off of that, and it may be the same thing, but if you could give your younger self one piece of advice when you were starting out, what would it be?
Starting out as a realtor,
Yep.
gosh, it would absolutely circle back on time. But also, I'm glad I did, because it really got my name out there, because Phil, when you first start your career, you really need to push. You got to have that drive. And for me, it was a little bit tougher. I wasn't full time. I had to juggle things, during the day, and then try to make time for real estate and answer that phone call. And once people, started to see the reviews come in on Google, and word of mouth in a small town of, hey, Lee actually might know what he's talking about here, and that he's going to work hard for you. And if you look on most of my reviews, that's the comment, that he works hard. And so I pride myself in that. And yeah, it's definitely the time, figuring out your time and managing it the best you can.
Yeah, I would argue that a lot of us don't even manage the time that we have well enough to understand that, right? I think there's a lot of people that when I'm working till 2 a.m., it's probably because I didn't put the 4 hours in when I was at the office, right? Like, sometimes it is required to go more because you're working on something that's going to take more time or more effort or whatever, and you want to get it done faster. But other times it's like, are you focusing during the time that you are working,
Right.
like utilizing that time for the best efforts and what is most important for you and your business, and ultimately your family. With that, so what is one mindset or habit that you've developed over time? And, to give some backstory, I've known Lee since he was a college football player, so that may come into play here. But what's one habit or mindset that you kind of credit for a lot of the success that you've had?
Starting your day off right, honestly. Trying to start your day off right. I'm not perfect. There are days where I'm just like most people. I open up my phone and it's social media. And that's one thing I'm really working on more and more. But I would credit that the most is, um, I would say, as being religious, doing your devotionals, just trying to even just turning on, I turn on the message. My wife and I turn on the message on Sirius XM in the morning, and just starting your day off positive, right? And that's for us. That's how we do our thing, is just being positive in the morning, even though yesterday might not have been a good day. You might have been crabby. Would have been long. The kids were like me when I was little. They just put you on the edge. Tomorrow's another day, right? So just starting your day off fresh, trying to be positive, because you never know what kind of impact you're going to have on other people and what kind of day they're having. And that also circles back on a phone call for real estate. Like, you don't know what kind of mood the person is on the other line that's looking for a house or looking to sell. They might not be having the best day, and they might have had a horrible experience with another realtor previously. Just trying to start your day off in the right foot and positive, so you can flow that in to your life for the day and others.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that come to mind when you say that. One is, attracting that, right? Like, in those conversations with those people, they may be having a bad day, but if you've developed that positivity, you may be able to help flip that conversation from going down a path that you didn't want it to. Same thing with kids, because obviously we all know they feed off of our energy as well.
Right.
Just making sure that you're bringing that positivity to the family side too. And how do you get yourself separated? So obviously you're doing a bunch of things throughout the day. You mentioned the 5 to 8 with the family. Is there any sort of thing that you do between, as far as the transition? And, obviously you're in the garage office right now. So is it the walk
Yeah.
from the garage to the house? What are you doing in that time frame to kind of get yourself back to center, to be able to give your family the full effort?
Yeah, for sure. It's you turn the computer off, really. So we set this. My wife and I did start doing this a while back. We when we're having supper, we don't have phones. We leave them somewhere else, so we can really just disconnect from the world. And what's going on with everything else. Let's just focus on us. So that gives our kids quality time before we try to wrap it up by 7:30 and get them to bed, and and then, like you said, we can get back to work if you have stuff going on that's burning on the desk. But to also kind of reset, I'll go for a run in the middle of the day just to rewind, right? Because I'm just been pushing all morning. I had a phone call at 7 o'clock in the morning, and things are rolling for the day, and I didn't get that time to go for a run. Well, I'll disconnect and go over noon hour or something like that. Just that's kind of how. And running's always been a big thing for me, so that's how I really just kind of throw on some tunes and just rewind or a podcast and reset for middle of the day, really, and get ready for the afternoon or something like that. So,
What kind of music you throwing on?
oh man, it depends. It really depends on the day, but I'm usually classic rock when I'm running. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's something about AC/DC. I'm like, let's go, right? Let's get it. But then there's days where I just need to like I'm so worked up for the day, what's going on, and I'll throw on some Christian music and just kind of just chill and take it low key. And I'm not hitting my pace setter for the day. I'm not gonna hit that 7-minute mile, but when I throw on that slower music, but it'll be, it's relaxing. So
Yeah, that was one thing I found funny too. I ran a half that I had like kind of no business running, right? Like
right.
I trained for a month and ran the half, which, it hurt for a while afterwards. But that's funny that you mentioned the classic rock. That's what I listened to throughout, was that. And then at one point when I was ready to quit, I had to throw on some Eminem to finish it off, to give the old high school motivation there with Lose Yourself. So maybe listen to it on like 3 or 4 times in a row to get through those last couple miles.
Yeah, and our song in college when we came out in football was Bring 'em Out, Bring 'em Out. That seems to be my top song when I first start running. Like, let's go, bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Yeah, get it all started up. I love it. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So to kind of wrap up here, I like to ask this question so you can kind of tell the audience what is coming next for you, and whether it's professionally or personally, what are you most excited about that's up next?
Yeah, just probably my family growing, and us personally probably moving on from our first house that we bought together. That's eventually coming on, because I'm literally in my garage. I got kicked out of the house because we had 2 little boys and we're running out of room. When we first bought our house, we didn't have kids, and we've been blessed with 2 gorgeous boys, and they kicked me out of my house, and now I'm in my garage. So growth, for the house, and with farming, that's going to be getting more important. As my father-in-law gets older, slows down, and starts to open up more doors that way. We're going to be more involved with farming, which that's become my number one love. Is something about putting something in the ground and growing it. It's weird, and some people might, obviously a lot of people might not understand that, not coming from a farming background, but it's something about just taking pride in that, really. And real estate wise, growth just keeps, I have my goals I set every year, and I keep overcoming them, or expanding them. And I would never have thought in 5 years that I would be where I am today for real estate, but it's been good. So yeah, I would say growth in many different aspects of our personal life and farm and real estate. So
yeah, that's awesome. I'm super happy for you that you're in a growth season of your life. I think that's really cool to see. And a lot of times when I'm having this conversation, a lot of people struggle with what they're going to answer, and it's because they're not in that growth season, right? They're just trying to survive the day to day. And so that's really cool that you're kind of into that growth period and growth stage, and just running as hard and fast as you can. Like that's a cool thing. And then you'll slow down when the family grows a little bit, and you have to slow down a little more, and then we go back and rotate back through. So, well, Lee, I appreciate you coming on with us here. I think it was a good time, and got to know you a little bit more, and the audience did too. So appreciate your time today, and let us know if you want to reach out to Lee. All of his social media stuff will be below, and he's pretty active on there. So good to see you. So thanks for being on.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.
Today's episode of Beyond the Guidelines comes to a close, but the story doesn't end here. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next one. And if you'd like to share your own story on the show, check out the link in the description to connect with us. Until next time, keep rewriting the rules, and remember to go beyond the guidelines.